Our two-time reigning NBA MVP, because he enters the final season of his contract, as we all know, but he could sign the Supermax, 5 years, $228 million, to remain with the Bucks. What sort of ripple effect could that have, Wendy, on the rest of the league going forward?
Well, Hannah, it's really everything. To be honest with you, we just had the craziest week of NBA transactions in league history, but nothing is more important than waiting on this Giannis extension. If he extends, the Bucks are the gigantic winners of this offseason. If he does not extend, we're going to see a mad rush and dash to prepare for his possible free agency next summer. And if you look at moves that teams have made across the league, whether it's the Miami Heat signing 4 players to 1-year contracts, whether it's the Toronto Raptors tailoring the contracts of their players so that they have more room next year, or the Dallas Mavericks making trades to clear off guaranteed money, those teams believe there's a chance that Giannis may not sign it. And so the whole league, in one way or another, is sitting on the edge of their seats waiting for that decision.
Okay, so let's really play this thing forward now. Let's talk about Anthony Davis, because the whole world expects him to return to the Lakers. So how potentially could what Giannis is doing or ends up doing impact the type of contract that AD ends up getting?
Yeah, it's unusual for AD to delay his re-signing for this long. And one of the things he could be watching is what Giannis does. If Giannis elects to sign the extension, then we could see AD potentially sign for longer. But if Giannis sets himself up to be a free agent next year, I know it seems hard for them to believe that the Lakers could do it, but that might spur Anthony Davis to only sign a 1-year contract with a player option, which is the kind of deal that LeBron James is on, to leave flexibility in Lakers payroll. So there's a lot of people watching Giannis Antetokounmpo.
In 3 weeks from today, one of the biggest storylines of the entire NBA season is either going to be renewed for another season or it's going to completely come to a close. You see, Giannis Antetokounmpo is eligible to sign a Supermax contract extension up until December 21st, 2020, which is exactly 3 weeks from today. And until then, well, we literally have to take little bits that Giannis Antetokounmpo is saying from the media and try to interpret it for ourselves. And as NBA training camps finally decided to open today, well, we just got ourselves another piece of information that we're going to interpret on this channel. So what's going on, guys? Your boy Mike here. This is our second video of today, so make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. I also dropped a crazy LaMelo Ball NBA simulation for NBA 2K21 on the PS5 in 4K, by the way, on my TheFlightMike TV channel. You can find a link to that in the end screen. And I wanted to give a shout out to our latest channel member, our latest supporter, our brand new Mike Mafia soldier, Christopher Roscoe. Thank you so much for joining Mike Mafia as a member. Now that we got all that out of the way, cue the intro.
What I'm going to do next, but one thing that I know that I'm going to do next, that I'm going to get better. And when the time comes that we're going to talk about contract and we're going to talk about long-term future with Milwaukee, that's going to be that time. I'm going to be at that moment. But right now, I want to keep getting better. I want to focus on my family. Obviously, I had a great meeting with the owners, talked about the team, talked about what went wrong, what can we improve, and as long as everybody's on the same page and as long as everybody is fighting for the same thing, not fighting every single day, which is to be a champion, I don't see why not be in Milwaukee for the next 15 years. I don't see why not be in Milwaukee for the next 15 years. I don't see why not be in Milwaukee for the next 15 years.
You got one brother with you in Milwaukee, another in LA. Have you ever thought about what it'd be like having everyone together?
I think that would be amazing. Obviously, we spend more time together, and I'm 100% sure my mom would love that. But if we could team up in a team in Milwaukee, LA, whatever, that'd be awesome. But if we could team up in a team in Milwaukee, LA, whatever, that'd be awesome. But at the end of the day, you gotta learn from everything that goes on in your life and in your career, and hopefully we can learn from this and get better as a team and come back, and hopefully you can build a culture in Milwaukee that for many years that we can come out here and compete every single year for a championship.
Giannis Antetokounmpo is one of the most game-changing free agent prospects that we have been able to potentially see switch teams in recent memory. And after analyzing each and every interview that he's ever given and providing updates every single time he hints at potentially changing teams, I've noticed that there is a trend in the way he talks to the media. You see, he never commits to a team that he wants to play for. If you remember in that clip that I showed you about his brothers, he said he'd like to play with them in LA or Milwaukee. Well, you're going to notice a very similar trend here in his interview at training camp, because today he gave another very funky, very fishy interview, and I want you guys to interpret it for yourselves. You see, the first interview I took with a grain of salt. I saw this morning. I chose not to make a video about it because I said, okay, everybody loves Kobe Bryant, and I honestly don't blame Giannis for saying this. Giannis said verbatim, Kobe Bryant told me to sacrifice if I want to win and be great. LeBron James is the best in the world. MVP is another story. I can tell that he is the best and my idol. He is 17 years in the league. My question is, how did he transition from Kobe Bryant, which he did have a relationship with? That's something that we should note. How did he transition from Kobe to LeBron just like that? Now, Giannis would continue to go on and say this, and this is what has Milwaukee Bucks fans going crazy, and this is why I made the video, because I thought this is by far one of the most suspect things that Giannis could say in an interview. Giannis went to Cosmo TV and said, if LeBron James, Kevin Durant, or Anthony Davis want to join me in Milwaukee, I will be happy. I don't care about being number 1 or number 2 or number 3. Can we have a nice little throwback to when Giannis Antetokounmpo said that he doesn't believe that he needs a super team to succeed because he has great teammates? Literally, he said this to Bleacher Report's Howard Beck. You don't have to have a lot of stars. I definitely think that, because I think we have great pieces on this team, and every guy on this team knows what his role is and is having fun and is enjoying his role. And that comes from the coach. If the coach gives you confidence, gives you the green light, and tells you what your role is, and you accept it as a player, and you're happy with it, that's big for every team. I don't think anybody on this team wants to do more, wants to do less. You see, here's what I'm starting to realize over here, and this is my personal theory. You guys could agree with it, you guys could disagree with it, you guys are all entitled to your opinion. I'm just bringing you guys the information. And honestly, as a Laker fan, as much as I think it'd be great for Giannis to join the Lakers and for us to be dominant, I do think it's truly horrible for the league. And I'm a Laker fan and I'm saying this, man. I do think it's awful for the league for Giannis to form a super team with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I don't think it's any different from Kevin Durant joining the 2016 Golden State Warriors. If you're going to hate on Kevin Durant for doing that, you could hate on Giannis Antetokounmpo for joining the Lakers potentially. The way he's talking to the media makes it sound like he's leaning towards a specific direction. And here's the thing that's the most terrifying about all this, guys. The Lakers appear to be tampering masterminds. They know what they're doing. They brought Kostas Antetokounmpo in on a contract, a two-way contract, and they did that for a reason. They leaked that little information that Anthony Davis hasn't signed a contract extension yet because he's waiting on Giannis Antetokounmpo. Why do you think they put that in the media? Do you think that Brian Windhorst pulled that out of his butt? Or do you think that there's a chance that Los Angeles Lakers marketing went ahead and leaked that info to Brian Windhorst to put it out there? Because the Lakers can't come out and directly say, hey, we want to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's no surprise there. They want to convey that that option is potentially on the table for him. Giannis clearly doesn't seem to be very excited about the offseason transactions that transpired in order to make the Milwaukee Bucks a little better. And how could he? Sacrificing depth and first-round draft draft picks for Drew Holiday makes the team a little bit more top-heavy, but it doesn't really put the Milwaukee Bucks over the hump in order to win a championship. But here's the scariest part of all. These two quotes that he gave, that Kobe Bryant told him to sacrifice if he wanted to win, and the fact that he's happy to be a number 3 option, and the fact that he's making so many references to the Lakers over here. I don't care if you're a Laker fan or not. I don't care if you want Giannis to stay in Milwaukee or not. You have to admit it's suspect as hell. And in the coming weeks, we should expect an update on this scenario. It's very, very fishy to me. So let me know in the comment section down below how you guys are interpreting this. Aside from that, I'm your boy, TheFlightMike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.